This time on Movie Show Plus, we'll look back at a classic Greg Russell interview celebrating the release of a new John Wick Blu-ray box set.
Yeah, well, he's got a strong will and intent.
No tricks here. Tom Santilli will treat you to his review of the new Halloween movie.
You don't believe in the boogeyman? You should.
Although he can't promise anything when it comes to the oath.
We can't sign this thing.
Yeah, you're right. This is insane.
Yeah, I mean, what is happening to the country?
All that, plus a whole lot more, coming up on Movie Show Plus.
I'm turning on you now.
How rude.
It's all coming out now.
It's based on this real woman, Lee Israel, that most people haven't heard of.
Nobody is going to pay for the writer Lee Israel right now.
She had been a bigger writer in the 70s and 80s. She wrote biographies of some famous people.
We have copies of your latest work right over there.
And the movie takes place when she's in the lowest point, really, of her life.
Went through a rough patch. I'm months behind in my rent, and my cat is sick.
She can't get a book deal.
I don't think the world is waiting for another Fanny Price biography.
She finds herself in this odd position where she comes across some letters she shouldn't have found in an archive, and she takes them. And she decides to sell them.
I could give you 75.
Oh.
It's a bit bland is all.
She realizes she could make more money if she started writing letters. And she's such a good writer and can get in the voices of all the people that she writes, like
Judy Holliday. Louise Brooks.
Ever yours, no.
and nobody can tell.
I'm embellishing literary letters by prominent writers.
How much is that?
600.
Wow.
I'm a better Dorothy Parker than Dorothy Parker.
I'll drink to that. Cheers.
Ms. Israel, I have a couple of questions regarding the last letter I purchased.
Uh-oh. Your name's been put on a list.
On a list.
And then the FBI comes after her.
We're probably looking at some time behind bars.
What?
So that's my elevator pitch.
In many ways, this has been the best time of my life.
And that's what's hot in Hollywood. This week, a new 2-disc box set of John Wick and John Wick 2 will be released. This particular set is exclusive to Walmart and comes with 2 exclusive replica coins. Greg Russell interviewed Keanu Reeves for both films, which we'll revisit now.
It's personal.
This movie is definitely a precautionary tale for anybody who wants to mess with someone's dog.
Yeah, don't do that.
Right.
Especially if it's a dog from your dying wife.
Right.
Who's trying to help you with your grief.
Right.
Don't take that dog.
No.
Don't do that. Especially if the guy used to be an assassin. Right. Who you'd send after the boogeyman. Like, don't do it to that guy.
Right. Check him out. Go online, look him up, and figure out who he is.
Just don't do that. Just don't mess with folks.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the directors wanted to have, the world of John Wick is like this hyper-real world. There's like the normal world, and then there's this great kind of underground honor amongst thieves, and the reputation of John Wick and as this kind of, legendary assassin. And when people find out that, someone stole his car and took his dog, it's like, killed his dog. They're like, oh, that's bad. They just know it's bad. It's bad.
Because even when, the main guy is just like going, what did my son do? Okay, yeah, please.
Oh, no.
Whatever, just be good to him.
Yeah, but we try to do some, in terms of the action,
right?
We try to do longer takes and just, kind of like, what am I watching? Oh, I can't believe this is happening. This is like real, So that was fun.
But here's John thinking, I'm ready for retirement again.
Yeah.
And then something comes along that just has to drag him back in.
Yeah, from the first film, the character played by Ian McShane, Winston was saying, like, are you sure you want to do this when I come out? And, it's going to come back to haunt you, and it does.
It's got some action that people have never seen before.
Oh, cool.
When John Wick takes you down, you're down.
Yeah, well, he's got a strong will and intent.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I love the action aspect of this. I really get to do things or try to do things that a lot of people in the action genre aren't afforded the chance to do. You know, with the training, you know, Chad Stahelski, the director, knows how to shoot it, knows how to direct it, knows how to, you know, design it. And, you know, Common was, you know, doing it, and he did John Wick training, and he's fantastic. And it's just fun to do the jiu-jitsu, the judo, the guns, the cars. You know, it's a good, solid action movie.
It certainly is. You know, like in real life, probably one punch, a person would be down. But
yeah, this dude, yo, think about John Wick could go through 100 people. Like, I mean, including Cassie and my character, who definitely rivals his skill. Like, they both are at the same level. So for me, it was a joy just to like be like, okay, like my character is the one that is at, you know, they truly have the same skill level and intelligence. So let's see who gets the best of who.
Check out MovieShowPlus.com to watch this episode online and for exclusive content, extended interviews with Greg Russell, and a complete archive of movie reviews with Tom Santilli. Also, make sure to like and follow us on social media and on our Movie Show Plus YouTube channel.
Being empowered starts with getting informed, looking closer. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime. But many of us don't know there are different types of breast cancer with different characteristics. That was me. Learning about the specifics of my diagnosis gave me the confidence to make informed treatment decisions with my doctor. This meant everything to me and my family. So take another look. Ask another question. Learn more at notonetype.org.
Pony Up Game by Venture Group, bringing back family game night. The game is called Pony Up, where one horse will win the race, but several players will win the pot. You'll be transported right to the racetrack. And best of all, you don't have to know anything about horse racing to play Pony Up. Just look at your cards. They represent your horses. Roll the dice to move your horse forward. But don't roll the house's number, or you'll pay and pay and pay. The pot grows bigger the closer a horse gets to the finish line.
9 pays 2!
Experience heart-pounding action and the thrill of victory. Pony Up Game has a casino-quality premium felt board, making your gaming experience feel authentic and genuine. It's horse racing fun for the whole family. Pony Up Game by Venture Group. Bring back family game night.
Everybody, let's rock. Everybody knows Santa Claus was dancing to the jail rock. What do you mean I'm not white? Why didn't you tell me this before? You're my own sister. Tell him, Wally. Does Dad know?
Lots of new movies opening this weekend. Let's get to it. Of course, the biggest release this weekend is the latest Halloween film. This is a direct sequel to the original 1978 version, so you can throw out and disregard all of the other Halloween movies that have come in between. This one once again stars Jamie Lee Curtis and picks up 40 years after the events of the original, where serial killer Michael Myers terrorized a small Midwestern town on Halloween night. If you go to the theater for some good thrills, to squirm in your seat, or to just be entertained, you're going to like this latest Halloween. Comedian Danny McBride from Vice Principals and Eastbound and Down is credited as a co-writer on the screenplay, so there's some really funny moments as well mixed in with all the horror. At its core, this is a cheap slasher movie though, and it doesn't really do anything fresh or new. There are a lot of great throwback scenes that echo the original, so I think fans of the franchise are going to probably love it. I didn't quite love that the whole premise of the sequel was based on the fact that Michael Myers was apparently captured and put in a mental institution following the events of the first film. It takes away a lot of the mystery of the character, and even though they don't show us his face again, they could have, I guess, since most of the characters in this movie surely have seen it. So there's some manipulative devices like that hold Halloween back from being great. Heck, I would even say that I enjoyed the recent Hellfest movie over the new Halloween. But Hellfest would have never existed if not for the original Halloween, and this sequel does it justice, even if it doesn't quite expand on the film's legacy. I give Halloween a B-. Next up is a movie that I consider to be one of the worst of the year. The Oath stars and is written and directed by Ike Barinholtz, and there are some traces that this might have been a better, more thoughtful movie. Instead, it's a complete disaster. A fictional president in this one has asked all citizens to take an oath to pledge their loyalty to him, just in time for Thanksgiving dinner for Barinholtz and his family. Tiffany Haddish, who has pretty much been in every single movie it seems since Girls Trip, is misused once again, and most every character is some kind of a thin cliche. But when you think this movie might have something to say, or it might have some kind of perspective on the things that divide us, it instead devolves into a crazy kidnapping story that turns violent and bizarre. There are barely any laughs at all, making you wonder if comedy was even the route Barinholtz was attempting. This is a mean-spirited, unfunny mess, and here's an oath I'll make to you: you'll never catch me watching The Oath ever again. I give this movie a D. 2 documentaries are also seeing release this weekend. The first is Free Solo, a movie that is being touted as one of the year's best documentaries about a guy who climbs mountains without any ropes or support. There's some dazzling camera work in this, and if you're scared of heights like me, this might be the scariest movie of the weekend, even with Halloween in theaters. But the subject of the doc, Alex Honnold, is sort of a jerk. I wish he wasn't, because I'd have an easier time rooting for him. His personality was sort of off-putting, and although that shouldn't take anything away from his accomplishments, it sort of does. But again, go see Free Solo if you dare. It's maybe the best film of the year that has the word solo in it, and I give it a B. Then we have Tea with the Dames, a doc that is just what it sounds like. A bunch of old ladies sitting around drinking tea. But these dames aren't just anybody. They're legendary actresses of the screen and stage. Judi Dench, Maggie Smith, Eileen Atkins, and Joan Plowright sit around and tell stories, joke with one another, and make each other laugh, and it's a pure delight. This one may not win any awards, but it's a fun watch, and that'll have you smiling throughout, feeling amazed that Maggie Smith was not offered more comedies. She is undeniably hilarious. Tea with the Dames gets a B+. For more detailed reviews of these and other movies, please check me out on Rotten Tomatoes. You can go to the site, search the critics list to find Tom Santilli, and you can scroll through all of my recent and not so recent reviews. Another good way to find my stuff is to follow me on Twitter @Tom Santilli, or go to the website movieshowplus.com. That's all for this week. Until next time.
I spent my whole life scrapping. Jealous, hungry, scared. I wanna find something decent, something good. You can be better than me. is it?
No ID, no idea. I know your whole story.
Placing our agent undercover, she'll look right enough next to our guy.
If we do this, we accept the consequences. Do you love me?
You know I do.
You chose to play cops and robbers. And you lost.
No, you cops!
I'm mad. I'm still mad. It's burned a circuit in my brain. I just want to do one good thing.
Buster Keaton is the essence of movies. A lot of my daring came from Keaton.
He was born to be a silent movie comedian.
By the time he was 4 years old, little Joe Frank Keaton had actually become a star in vaudeville, the youngest ever.
The man said I was a big comedian and I was going to get a big contract.
Buster finally gets his long-time wish fulfilled, and he starts to make his own feature films.
He is one of the inventors of cinema.
It's magic.
A perfect storm follows. Buster is drinking too much. His marriage is falling apart.
He blamed himself. He just lost his heart there.
He could have been killed. He was feeling so down that he didn't care.
Everything he had achieved was forgotten.
For Keaton, cinema was important. It was jokes that worked because of the movie camera.
How he did that was superhuman. There were no tricks. He just did it.
It's amazing how timeless he is and how that type of physical comedy will never be unfunny. How many filmmakers can you say that about?
Hello everybody, my name is Maximilian Helfman.
And I'm Connor Renouche.
And welcome to Theater Butter. This weekend, First Man was released. This was the third film by 33-year-old director Damien Chazelle, and it got us thinking about young, new directors that are coming out on the scene in Hollywood right now. The first director that we were thinking that you should definitely look out for is David Patrick Lowry. If you don't know who that is by name, he directed Pete's Dragon, the live-action Disney film that came out a couple of years ago, the A24 produced film A Ghost Story, and Robert Redford's last performance, the film Old Man and the Gun, which is out in theaters right now. He's a phenomenal director, and he was just signed on to direct the Peter Pan live-action film with Disney, so I don't have any reason not to be excited for any of this guy's films.
Another filmmaker that you should definitely be looking out for in terms of upcoming projects is Christopher Nolan, who's definitely made a name for himself across Hollywood over the last decade with movies like the Dark Knight trilogy, Inception, movies that a lot of people might not actually go see unless his name was attached to it, things like Interstellar and Dunkirk, which became box office smashes just because his name was on it. He does not have an upcoming project named yet, but the fact that people are constantly swarming about it and want to know what he's doing next, there are constant forum pages and fan pages wondering what is Christopher Nolan's next project, people pushing for him to do Bond 25. It's clear that he's left this impact on this millennia of filmmaking, and if you want to see great films, you should definitely go see the next one that has Christopher Nolan marked as director and writer.
Another group of directors that I think you guys should look out for are Benny and Josh Safdie, the Safdie brothers. They did last year's film Good Time, produced by A24, which was Robert Pattinson's best performance in my opinion. That film killed it last year. Next year, their newest film starring Adam Sandler and Lakeith Stanfield, who's just in this year's Sorry to Bother You, which I thought was phenomenal, is called Uncut Gems, and I'm very looking forward to this film because I believe it is A24 as well, and it seems as though that it's going to be a serious performance by Adam Sandler. And if any of you guys have seen Paul Thomas Anderson's film Punch Drunk Love, you have no reason not to be excited to see Adam Sandler in a serious role.
So another one to look out for who's a little less well known than someone like Christopher Nolan is Cary Joji Fukunaga, who got his start very well off of TV when he directed the entire first season of True Detective, which has recently been regarded as one of the best seasons of television in modern history. He went on to make the Netflix original film Beasts of No Nation, which is regarded as being one of the best, if not the best, Netflix original film, before then taking on the new Netflix original series Maniac, which is being received of rave reviews over the past couple of months since its release, and he is now officially signed on to direct Bond 25 after a bunch of departures and a bunch of weird stuff happening with Danny Boyle, who was signed on to direct that beforehand. So you've now got your new Bond director, who is practically 3 for 3 in terms of his projects. He's definitely one to look out for after he directs a massive big budget action film, and only time will tell with what he does next.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Theater Butter. I highly recommend you go check out First Man. I thought it was phenomenal, and it's great to go support new up-and-coming directors. Well, Damien Chazelle isn't really new anymore. I think after this, he kind of solidified himself. Connor, anything else you want to say about Damien or any other directors?
Yeah, I mean, when you've got someone who's the youngest winner for the Best Director Oscar, then you're definitely going to want to go check out what he does next. He's got a TV series coming up one of these years, either 2018, the very end, or 2019. It's called The Eddie. It's an 8-episode series that'll be centered around a musical. It's a French club owner or something of that sort. I think it's been picked up by Apple, actually, or he has 2 TV series coming up, one for Netflix, one for Apple. It's something of that nature, but definitely be sure to check that out when it releases. If nothing else, he's shown that he is a creative mind that is really yet to be rivaled.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Theater Butter. If you want to find any of my stuff, you can go to youtube.com and just search up Maximilian Helfman. You'll find all my movies on there.
And if you want to find my stuff, you just search up Ice Cold Films and you'll find the same thing.
Thank you very much for watching Movie Show Plus. Hope you all have a great weekend.
In 90 minutes, you can get away with scaring people 3 or 4 times.
Get back in the car!
For something like this, over 10 hours, the rules are very different.
There's something in the house!
I want to build a sense of tension and to sustain it as long as possible.
All the way through, I want to see you guys scared this entire time, okay?
Horror has been changing. It got to a point where the genre was content just to startle people. Now we're seeing audiences are much more sophisticated. In our show, I wanted to go back to when horror was actually about something much more profound than just being afraid. One of the things that I believe is that our lives are full of ghosts. I think they take a lot of forms, and they can be regrets and memories and shame and grief and guilt and all sorts of things. For an audience, it's about forcing them to look at things that are uncomfortable in the safe space that the genre creates.
Working with Mike Flanagan has been absolutely great. He brings a great spirit to the set, and he spent a lot of time thinking about this story and thinking about how he was going to film it visually.
He's going to come forward. He doesn't flinch out this way.
He has a really unique way into horror. It's very true to the genre, but he will always go for a more complex character and a deeper version of something. He is the true definition of an auteur.
He knows the material in and out to the point where if anyone is sometimes slightly confused, he always has an answer.
The way you move the camera and what you show and what you don't show is the fundamental notion that what you don't see is scarier than what you do. Mike envisioned that from day one. He did this by framing carefully, by planning what kind of camera moves, show us what when. He has a lot of red meat in this for horror fans.
I have to tell you something. Your mother, she was not sick. She wasn't crazy, and neither are you.
I hope audiences will absolutely embrace a truly complex human story that happens to be wrapped in the skin of horror.
You know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend that you don't.
You know, I gotta ask. Folks around town, they've always talked about this place. What? Is it haunted?
You know.
Check out MovieShowPlus.com to watch this episode online and for exclusive content, extended interviews with Greg Russell, and a complete archive of movie reviews with Tom Santilli. Also, make sure to like and follow us on social media and on our Movie Show Plus YouTube channel. Next time on Movie Show Plus. Greg will sit down with Gerard Butler, star of the new action thriller Hunter Killer.
Fire!
Did we just start a war? No, but we might have still been the one.
And we'll travel back to the mid-90s with the directorial debut of Jonah Hill.
That's why we ride a piece of wood, what that does to somebody's spirit.
Any and all views and or opinions expressed by me, Tom Santilli, are fully my own and do not necessarily reflect the views and or opinions of Movie Show Plus, any other critic on the show, or anybody else associated with this program.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.